Hi everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Danny James, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to create Instagram previews for music videos. We're going to do this on Photoshop and then incorporate Adobe Premiere in the latter stage of the tutorial. If you do end up enjoying the video, kindly give it a like and subscribe so that you never miss any of my future uploads. Now let's head into Photoshop. If you've opened your Photoshop, you just want to create a new file, and let's create a 1080 by 1920 so that it's a bit longer on the vertical side. You can also have a 1080 by 1080, which is a perfect square, which also works for Instagram, but we'll go with a 1080 by 1920. You can create the background to be black, and let's go. So this should be our starting point. Now we need to create the background and where the video will fall in. Quickly go for your rectangle marquee tool. You should have the design in mind. In this first design, let's create a gap right here. Okay, let's not go towards the edges too much. Something like this. Okay, once you have it like that, hit shift and backspace and fill it with white. Now let's create a second one, which is right beneath this one. As I said, this is the first design, so we're going to learn a couple of tricks. Hit shift backspace, fill that with white. With the areas which you have white, that's where the video is going to preview. Once you have this, you can disable this lock, and now we want to remove this white background right here so that you can have a transparent image behind. Quickly go to your select and go to the color range. You want to sample the color that you want to remove. In my case, it's the white. Hit OK, and then you'll see some matching ants, and then hit delete on your keyboard. Hit Ctrl D to remove those matching ants. So we have the framework that we need. Now that you have a transparent grid, this is where we can bring our images. So you can browse to your images. Let's bring in these two photos. Okay, so I'll just enlarge this one, and then I'll also bring this other one right beneath and make it a bit bigger. Now you want to right click on these images and create a clipping mask. So I'll create a clipping mask for the two images, and now you should be able to see through this transparent grid. I'll rearrange my images so that the bottom layer stays at the bottom, just as you can see, and then on the layer that is right above the image, and add a mask like that. Grab your brush tool, a soft round tool. You can toggle between foreground and background using X, and then you want to slowly chip away these ends so that you don't have like this rough transition. That looks cool. Once you're done correcting your images, you can group them, hold shift and click on all of them, and then hit Ctrl G. Let's name these video details. Once you're done with this step, now we can add the text layers and the aesthetics afterwards. So let's add the name of the song, the name of the artist, directed by, shot by, or such details. So I'll grab a text tool. Let's name this song The Most. I'll switch back to my selection tool. I want to change the font to a Cobel font. I really like Cobel. It gives me an official look. You can center it by hitting Ctrl A within that layer. Hit Ctrl A, and then you'll get the matching ants, and then you can click right here to center everything. Hit Ctrl D to remove the matching ants. Duplicate this text. I'm holding Alt or Option on Mac while dragging down, and now I'll write the name of the artist. I think I'll give the name of the artist a different font. Okay, so that looks good. I'll make the name of the artist small. Again, you want to play with your typography. You want to change how letters are squeezed towards each other, and then I'll make it a light font, something like that. This looks crazy. Hitting Ctrl A, and then like that, and then you can bring the name of the artist just there. Let's write some details for the director. This looks good. The details, the contrast, they all add up. Now we can add some aesthetic, something like parental advisory. Go on Google, search parental advisory PNG. You also wanted rated R PNG. So you want to look for these aesthetics which you can add on your image. Since it's a promo, you want to make it look something serious. That's what you should find. I have them in my hard disk. I'll bring in the parental advisory. I'll place it right here, maybe at the corner. Perfect. So that should look good. You can always play around with how it blends in. I'll leave it on screen. So that's our first design. I totally love it. Let's create a second one which should have some different approach. Let's create a new one. For this design, you want to import other brushes. You can't use the default brushes within Photoshop to get this look. Luckily enough, I linked down these brushes below so that you guys can also download them. Once you've downloaded the brushes, just click right here to import the brushes. So for the brushes that I'll share with you, this is what it looked like. You'll double click on it to import it. So we'll start with a soft round brush. I will also unlock this layer so that you can manipulate it. We'll begin with this soft round brush. Let's make it harder, and then let's reduce the hardness. I'm holding Alt and then right click, drag down to quickly change the hardness of the brush. Okay, so I'll go from this side going down. Make sure you have your foreground color as white. I'm switching between them with X, so I'll paint across like that. You can make it smaller. I'm also holding Alt and right click, drag down or up to make it bigger or smaller. So this is to create a base for us. Once you have this base, now you want to go to these other brushes. Let me try the SS painting brush. I'll try this texture, and then I'll make it small. I'll go to the edges where I can add these textures. Okay, let me change the brush. I'll undo that. Okay, I'll go for this one. It's called writing. So I'm clicking on the edges. It seems to change. You can click as you drag, and I'll also do the same on the top half. So this is to give us some jagged edges, some rugged look. Okay, you can try other brushes, but the tutorial will be too long. So once you've done this step, again, go back to your selection tool, go to filter, go to select, color range, make sure white is selected, hit OK, and then delete, and then hit Ctrl D to disable. Then now we can bring in our images. I'll bring in 2 images, put them right there. I'll enlarge this one. I'll have the foot to stay right there. Okay, and then this second image should be on the top half. Okay, and then right click, create a clipping mask, right click, create a clipping mask. So we have our images just how we'd like them. Remember, you can always add an adjustment to your image. You can switch up the hue. You can also make it specific to one image only, the one on the bottom. Yeah, I've brought in some greens. Remember to create a clipping mask again if it trips like that. Now you can shift click on all of them and then hit Ctrl G to group them, video details, and then you can now bring in some texts as I showed you earlier. If you ever feel like your images are too bright, I have a simple fix so that your text can be seen. Under the video details, create a new layer, then bring a paint bucket, make sure you have black on, and paint it black. Okay, the group is locked. I'll unlock it, paint it black. So we're under the video details, but what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to reduce the opacity. You see when the images are too bright, so you can reduce the opacity so that you can make the images a bit dull. Yeah, something like that. And then drop it down and remember to lock that layer again. From there we can change the credits and the names. So I'll make this name have a bit more spacing, and for this other name I'll make it have less spacing between the letters, and I'll also make it a smaller font. And then for this other word that is right up, Sana Up, I want to increase the size, and then I'll squeeze this to the right. For this name Sana Up, you can double click right here to get the layer styles. Then you can try whichever layer styles you're good at. Okay, I'll actually give it a yellow color overlay. Okay, that's quite cinematic. I think that was supposed to be then the color of the fill. So we can go with this design to the next step. Now that you have your two designs ready, we can export them as PNGs. Make sure there's no background layer which has a color or a fill. So export, quickly export it as a PNG. Let's name this design 2, and then let's export our first one, design 1. Now let's go to Premiere and add the respective videos, and export these. Now let's create a new project on Premiere. Let's name these titles. Once it's opened, you want to import your video that you want to put in between, and the designs. So I'll import the designs. Now you can drag the design to a sequence so that it can create a sequence which has the same properties. So if you scroll to the very beginning, I know it's very small, but you should see it here. And then place that design above on the video layer 2. Now you can go to your video and grab an in and out, and then place that video below the design. You can see it's a bit not aligned. Go to your effects and change the position so that it can go up. And then you can also scale it, and it will fit perfectly. So this is our very own made Instagram preview for this music video. Looks really dope. Yeah. Let's work on the second design, design 2. I'll drag it on the timeline. Okay, just drag it here to create a new sequence with it, and then make it long enough, whether that's 30 seconds, and then I'll drag the video. Make sure the video stays below that design PNG. I'll scale this up, and now if we look through it, it looks like a perfect design. Yeah, that's basically it. I love how these designs have come out. They are completely different from each other, and that's why I wanted us to do the two of them so that you can have an idea of how they are made. If you don't like the work or the process behind it, you can always visit my shop at dannyjames.co. I have my director's music video promo pack as the first item. Just check it out and you might like it. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching this video. Kindly give it a like so that it's suggested to other people in the same interest as you. My name is Danny James. See you in the next tutorial. Peace.